Today is going to be the start of a really cool project for us. We are going to be starting the 5-day process of curing our own bacon. We're going to take you guys from start to finish on making bacon, from curing it, smoking it, and putting it away in the freezer. Right here we have our pork bellies, and this is what bacon looks like before you actually cure it. And what curing is a way of using salt to draw moisture out of the meat and preserve it. This is going to be our first time curing bacon. There's tons of ways you can do this, and the route we're going to take is we're going to do a no nitrate type of cure, and we're going to be using kosher salt to do that. So let's jump in and get started on making our own bacon. The first thing that we are going to do is we're going to cut these pork bellies into more manageable pieces to actually slice into bacon when this is all done. We have 15 pounds of pork belly, so that's what we're basing our recipe off of. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our wet ingredients for our brine mixed in this bowl. So that is going to consist of a half a cup of maple syrup. And we're also going to use 4 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. We're going to start mixing our dry ingredients, and this is going to be one of the most important parts when you're curing your own bacon, and that's going to be the salt ratio. There's a lot of different ways you can do this. A lot of people use curing salts. We're going to be using our kosher salt, and the ratio we're going to be using is we're going to use a 1/4 cup of this per 5 pounds of meat. So in total, we're going to need 3/4 cup of this kosher salt. Now that we have our salt in our bowl, we're going to add our other ingredients, and we're going to be using brown sugar. We have some fennel seeds, tarragon, coriander, and some black pepper. We're going to start with 1 cup of the brown sugar. We're going to be doing 2 tablespoons of each of these. So we got our black pepper. This is our coriander. We have our fennel seed. And this is tarragon. We've got our dry ingredients all mixed up, and we're going to jump back to the wet ingredients, and that is what we're going to start with. We're going to completely coat all 4 pieces of the pork belly with that, and then we're going to move on to rubbing in our dry ingredients. Let's get started on our dry ingredients. I'm going to use half of this to coat the top and the sides of the meat, and then I'm going to use the other half after I flip them over, and we're going to coat the underside. You want to really press this into it and make sure that you're going to coat every single surface on this. We've got our pork belly all covered in our cure. If you were doing this at home, you'd most likely be putting this in a glass baking dish, and you'd be keeping it in your fridge anywhere from 3 to 7 days. Our situation's a little bit different as we don't have a refrigerator. So what we're going to do is we're going to be using this food grade bucket. We're going to put all of our pork belly in here, and we're going to be keeping it down in our root cellar for the same amount of time. Right now our root cellar is sitting at the perfect temperature to be doing this. We're at 35 degrees. And we've done a little research on how long you want to cure this stuff for, and we don't like something that's super salty, so I think we are going to just do it the 3-day mark. I'm going to get the lid on our bucket and put this down in the root cellar. All right, we are back with our bacon. It has actually been 4 days since we put it down in the root cellar. We originally wanted to do 3, but things came up and we couldn't get to it, so we actually ended up with 4 days on it. And I went down there every day and I flipped the meat, and it actually was producing quite a bit of liquid. You can see in there, we now have a bunch of liquid in the bottom. So our next step is going to be rinsing this meat off in cold water, setting it on the counter to dry, and then we need to hang it. Now that we've got our meat rinsed off, we need to pat it dry, and I'm just going to use a clean kitchen towel to do that. Next step, we need to age this meat. And if you're doing this at home, you're going to want to have airflow with this. So the main goal is to not have this just sitting on a surface like the bottom of a pan. If you're going to be putting this in your refrigerator, you want some sort of rack to lift it up off the bottom of your pan. We're going to be putting it out in our shed since it's cold enough that it's not going to freeze the meat, and it's not too hot where it's going to spoil it. So for us, what we're going to do to make sure this gets plenty of airflow is I've got these branches, and we're going to put a piece of meat here and a piece of meat here, then I've got another one, and we're just going to hang them inside the shed for 24 hours. All right, since tomorrow we're gonna be firing up the smoker for the bacon, we decided we were gonna use our last bag of pork trim. We're gonna grind it up and we're gonna be smoking some snack sticks. And we're gonna go for a sweet and spicy recipe, and we're gonna be throwing in one of my favorite canned food, and that is cowboy candy. So the first thing we're gonna do is get this meat all grinded up through the coarse grinder, add all of our ingredients, and then we're gonna grind it through one more time through the fine grinder, and then we're gonna be using our sausage stuffer today. This is all partially frozen pork trim, and all I'm gonna do is cut this into small enough pieces that it's gonna fit down the neck in our grinder. So something like that is already perfect. We've got most of our meat grinded up. I just have a little bit more. At this point, I'm gonna add all of our ingredients into our grinder, and then I'm gonna kind of flush it through with the rest of the meat. So we're gonna add a can of cowboy candy. We're gonna add the liquid and everything. Gonna add a whole cup of brown sugar, and then I've got a bunch of things in here. We've got coriander, thyme, sage, and some mustard powder. Gonna add our salt. Do a bunch of black pepper. We need to soak these casings in some warm water to be able to stuff them. While we're doing that, we're gonna get our grinder cleaned up, and we're also cooking a piece of our sausage to make sure we like the way it tastes. Sausage turned out great. We're just gonna leave it like that. Next step is we are gonna get the collagen casing loaded onto the sausage stuffer, and then we're gonna load it with our sausage. Alright guys, so this is going to be our sausage we're going to be smoking. So this is just going to go outside, then we're going to wait till tomorrow, and we're going to get the smoker fired up and smoke our snack sticks and our bacon. Alright, this morning we're getting the smoker cleaned off, and we're going to get a fire lit in there and get her heated up. So while this is heating up, our next step is we're going to get our alder that we just cut down yesterday. We're going to get this cut into chunks, and then we're going to skin the bark off it. And this is what we're going to use to be smoking our meat. Okay, we've got our skinned alder on the smoker. We're going to head in and grab our bacon and our sausage. We got the door on the smoker. Preferably we want to get this thing to about 150 to 160 degrees. I'm not sure how fast we're going to get there. It's really cold outside today, but I'm going to stick my thermometer in the side, and I'm going to check back in about 20 minutes and see where we're at. I know the bacon is going to take about 2 to 3 hours, and the sausage is probably going to go double that. Okay guys, so the smoking's going pretty good. We're sitting at about 175 degrees. It's been pretty hard to keep this thing hot today. It's only 6 degrees Fahrenheit outside, but this has actually been going for probably about 4 or 5 hours, and we're getting ready to pull this stuff off. So we're gonna get it pulled off in probably about a half an hour, and we'll see you guys inside. Okay guys, we made it inside. Everything turned out really good. We did have kind of a change of plans with our Snack sticks, this is now going to become just smoked sausage. We're going to end up cutting these into pieces and freezing them. And the reason being for that is I was having a lot of trouble keeping that smoker hot for a long period of time. So I wasn't able to smoke these as long as I wanted. So they're not going to be snack sticks. We're just going to freeze them and keep them in the freezer. But they still turned out really good. And the bacon is looking awesome. I can't wait to slice into it. And that is the next thing we're going to do. I'm going to kind of square it up so we can get some nice, good square pieces of bacon. Okay, so as you can tell, this bacon looks amazing. Honestly, I can't wait to even try this. And then we're gonna take the little misfit pieces, the ends and pieces, and we're gonna just package those separately, something like that. Here's what we ended up with. That's a lot of bacon. That's gonna be awesome. I'm really looking forward to cooking some of that up. And we're gonna cook some of it tonight. We're also gonna cook one of these, and we'll let you know how they taste. And our next step is I'm gonna get these sausages chopped up into about half this size. All right, that's it, all a day's work. One more thing to do, we are gonna fire up the food saver, and that's what we're gonna be doing with all these. We're gonna be vacuum packing them. All right, that was the last bag, and we saved just enough to cook up some dinner.
We weren't going to end this video without telling you how that tasted, and it was incredible. That was our first time with snack sticks. We have done something like that before, but not smoked, and it was our first time with the bacon, and the bacon was incredible. It's really good from pigs like that. It's thicker, it's meatier, even though it has a lot of fat, it really just comes out really good, melts in your mouth. And the snack sticks were great too. We thought they were kind of like a spicy summer sausage. And you can tell we pretty much ate our stuff very quickly.
Yeah, that was amazing. I'm going to say it right now, that was the best bacon I've ever had. I don't know what it was, but it was just really good, and the brown sugar came through in it.
All the stuff came through.
Really good. And the coolest thing I think about that bacon is that was really easy to make. As you saw from the video, it's not complicated. You know, anyone can do it, and we got a ton of bacon. We saved a lot of money just making it on our own.
Absolutely, it's something we would totally do again. We hope you guys enjoyed this video, found it maybe useful. We are going to get all of this stuff put away now.
It tastes just like a summer sausage.
Summer sausage!
That bacon's so good. That's like better than, not just better than any bacon I've ever had.
But sweet. The sugar comes through.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, this tastes like bacon.
Mm-hmm.
This tastes like the bacon we bought.
Mm-hmm.
Ah! Mmm!
But this one, the other one, you could tell the fat, where the fat was, and it was like fatty. This, like the whole thing just tastes like a really good melt in your mouth morsel.
Oh yeah, okay, so my second piece is different.
What's it like?
Like we said, melts in my mouth like candy. What were we thinking? It's like enough food for a bird.
Yeah. I could eat what I just ate again easily.
Yeah. Is it good on us or no?
Yep.
I'm gonna say.
It's kind of low down.
Well, that's what I was asking.
I don't know, I'm telling you now.